Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope that you guys are doing good. I am multitasking today. I sometimes get up and I start working and then I jump in the shower. So that's kind of what happened this morning. So you're like, gosh, she gets up late. No, I've actually been up since about 6, but um, anyway, sometimes that's just the way the day rolls, right? So um, anyway, I had an interesting conversation last night, and I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about, since it's Friday, talk to you guys about dating and how do you know that you're ready to date. And so I had this kind of in-depth conversation with a good friend of mine, and this is kind of these are the takeaways that I got from our conversation. The first thing was I had a wake-up call this past spring, and I call it my ice bath. That's what it felt like. It felt like somebody dumped really cold water on top of my head. And so my ice bath was God exposed to me that I had some areas in my life um, that I had a lot of shame and disgrace over. And I had a hard time being transparent right away about it. Not that I was trying to hide anything from the person who was trying to get to know me, but I had a lot of shame and disgrace and embarrassment about some of the things that went on in my marriage, some of the things that happened to me as a child, and how that filtered into my decision to marry. And I had just a lot of disgrace and shame surrounding my career, and how my frustration about my career, and how that was really something that I really felt such a deep sense of shame and embarrassment behind that. And before this happened this past spring, I would have told you, I've given God every area of my life. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, there's nothing, that is hidden from God. There's nothing that I wouldn't tell anybody. My life's open book. I'm transparent. And when push came to shove, which, it certainly did then, it came to shove when someone was really kind of pressing me about X, Y, and Z, and I'm feeling like, gosh, just a second date, And there's timing and everything, there's wisdom into where to share things. You don't want to you know, just start vomiting, all the bad stuff that ever happened to you, 5 minutes into your first date. I get that. So, you exercise wisdom, but I really realized that, oh my goodness, I still had some more work I needed to do in regard to not carrying baggage into my next relationship. And so I realized that this person that I was on a date with, God did not give me a divine appointment with this person for a romantic reason. He gave me a divine appointment with that person. I don't even really call it a date anymore, but it was a divine appointment with that person because God wanted to expose these things. And God always exposes and asks us or shows us that He wants to walk alongside us and partner with us in releasing, getting freedom, getting delivered from stuff that He doesn't want us to carry anymore. And so that's kind of what happened to me, even though I was quite confused at the time, I have to admit. I spent about a week really just rallying, just shaking my head and trying to figure out, God, what are you doing here? I don't understand. And so when I was talking to my friend, she was also kind of saying how she was being on a date that she hadn't been on in a while. She got triggered by certain things, and she found herself being very uncomfortable and flustered and couldn't remember basic things and really kind of being embarrassed by that. And she just felt like, oh my goodness, I felt like a basket case. So I said, what can I tell women, what can I tell young ladies about how do you determine or how do you know when you're ready to date after a breakup, whether it's a divorce or breaking up from a long-term relationship. How do you know that? The first thing is really being comfortable about a lot of the negative things that happened to you in your past relationships, and you knowing that you have started, or at least begun the work of really releasing those things. Sometimes, for me, I'm just going to be really honest and transparent. For me, that meant I had to go back into counseling. And if anybody knows me, I am a huge proponent of counseling. I will tell anybody in a heartbeat, find yourself a good counselor. If you go to someone and you realize, oh, that person's not for me, don't stop there. Don't stop. Keep looking for a person. Ask for references from your friends or, other people that you trust, maybe, people in the church. And you'd be surprised. A lot of people, in the church, you may not know what they do for a living, but, you really admire them and say hi to them in passing. And before you realize it, they'll be a good resource to tell you where to go to get counseling, or a lot of times they're counselors themselves. There's a lot of people in the church that really serve in that capacity because they just have such a servant's heart and a heart for people. And so you will find a lot of counselors or people who know counselors that through your church. So, if you have that resource or a friend, or, if you can get some type of referral. Oh gosh, I'm going to make up all over the place. If you can get some type of referral, that is really the best thing to do. So go to counseling. If you are at a place where you are, again, kind of comfortable talking about your past in a way that you're just not, absolutely cringing, or you really feel, like I said, a strong sense of shame and embarrassment like I did, then you know that you're ready. So again, transparency is a huge part. And also, too, my thing is, and I'm surprised by how many, especially men, they will do this. But I will only go out with a guy that I am excited to get to know. I may not know very much about them. I might have been introduced to them by through a friend, or whatever it is. But if someone happens to catch my eye for whatever reason, or if I feel like someone is thinking about trying to pursue me, I want him to be really excited about getting to know me, and he really needs to kind of show me that. And I don't mean, he needs to be falling all over me and following me to the bathroom and all that stuff. I'm not saying that, but he needs to really be expressing an interest and being the one who is pursuing. And so that's the second thing, knowing that there's somebody that you caught your eye, or somebody that you got introduced to, or someone that your friend is telling you, hey, you have to meet this person. And you're intrigued and you're excited to get to know more. That's one way of knowing. Second thing is, if you have kids, sometimes the age of the kids and that sort of thing really kind of plays into whether you're ready to date. So that's another thing. Your support system as far as your kids are concerned. Do you have a safe person, to watch your kids in the evening? I'm not talking about while you're at work, because, you have regular daycare, but do you have somebody in your support system that you trust to watch your kids if you're going out on a date? Where are your kids in that, if it was a divorce, are they at a place where they can understand and be ready for you to move on? Because, sometimes kids, they have questions, they don't understand. Sometimes kids will hold on to hope that you're going to get back together with daddy, a lot of them, until you actually get remarried. This is how kids are. They, mom and dad are the natural object of their affection. They want to love you both. And so sometimes, that can factor into whether you're ready to date or not. But the main thing was, how do you feel about dating again? Are you at a place, especially if you've gone through a situation in your prior relationship or your prior marriage where you suffered a lot of betrayal, and it may even be kind of verbal abuse or other types of abuse. But, if you are at a point where you feel like you still can't trust men, then you know that you still have a little bit more work to do before you really kind of get out there and really get to know somebody else, or go through the, sorry, let me just reach this. We go through the just going through the motions of getting to know someone, putting yourself out there. And sometimes too, sometimes you think that you are like me. Thought I was ready. Yeah, I'm ready to get out there. The ice bath. God said, "No, no, daughter, not just yet. You have something else that I want to partner with you to work on." And that's exactly what I did. After I got that ice bath, it wasn't 4 days before I was back in counseling. I was like, "You got to work me in, please. Can you work me in this week?" And I got so much freedom from that. So many things that I didn't even consider that I was still holding on to, that I thought, oh, you know what? I did work on that last year and a half ago. You know, I got freedom from that. No. Again, when push came to shove and I was in the situation, I realized that I wasn't. And it's not fair, to people that when you start to move on and get to know them, you want to be at the best place that you can be. And so that's what I would really recommend to you. And sometimes too, when you're dealing with certain things like dating that may be a trigger for you, in regards to some of the other things that you dealt with in your past relationships that you haven't gotten freedom from yet. Sometimes you just don't know that until you're in that situation, like I did. So don't beat yourself up about that. That's what I really wanted to get at. Don't beat yourself up about it if you don't realize. But as soon as you do realize, do what you can to spring into action. If you can't afford, going to a regular, counselor, if that's just not in the budget, if you have a church home, a lot of times that, they have members of the pastoral staff who will really help to counsel you. Or sometimes, they'll say, hey, sister so-and-so in the women's ministry, she's really good. We know that we can rely on her to give you godly wisdom and counsel. She will really give you a Christ-centered perspective. A lot of times that will be such a huge resource and such a huge help. So don't think, oh my gosh, I don't have money to pay for a counselor right now. There are other things that you can do. Or even just sometimes, you might have a friend that says, hey, I know a young lady who's really good at, giving me a good perspective and helping me to remain objective and really look at some certain things. And, sometimes it's just God give you a divine appointment with somebody, you don't even really know all that well, or that you'll get referred to through a friend. So ask God, who can I trust? Who can send somebody my way, Lord? You know my financial situation. Send somebody my way. And He is faithful to do that. So I hope that you guys found that helpful today, especially with us going into the weekend and us thinking about dating. And, I know that's fine if you're not ready for that yet. But if you're not ready, now is the time to start to think of ways for you to get freedom from it. Whether you're interested in, you say to yourself, I'm not interested in dating for another year, for another 2 years, whatever it is, that's fine. But you can still do the work so that you're not going another day still carrying the same load, the same amount of weight and baggage that weigh you down emotionally, physically, and stop you from, truly being the person that you are, which is awesome and beautiful and fabulous and sexy and all that good stuff, because you want to be able to exude those things and broadcast those things and really reprogram your mind and think those things moving forward, whether you're ready to meet someone or not. So I hope you ladies found that helpful. This is not a lunch with Laura. I don't do lunch with Laura on Fridays, but actually I have to take my mother to a doctor's appointment lunchtime today. But I hope you found that helpful. And I probably will do a blog about this on Monday. But I hope you found that helpful. Have a wonderful weekend. I love you ladies and take care. Bye-bye.